Hey, I'm Sam and I Do Design, and in the video today we're going to be going through this Procreate file to see how I sketched this French press. I think I'm going to start a series of these videos where I go through old Procreate files so I can see how I sketch things. I think this was probably about a year ago now that I sketched this, and I think it's going to be really interesting for me to see how I sketched this French press, and I hope that it's going to be interesting for you to see how I did it as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the video and go into the time-lapse replay, and we'll just let this run through. So you can see that we've got the base sketch really roughly drawn in already, and as I have the ellipse of the cylinder to go through, then I just start adding in more details, and you can see that it's essentially two cylinders that I've got drawn at different angles that make it look as if they are on different planes in a 3D environment. So you've essentially got the lid with the cylinder of the filter that goes into the cylinder of the glass shape as well. And then for the liquid, I remember that I actually had a photo of a liquid splash. I think it was just water, a stock image that I used to sketch nearby. And it didn't have to be perfect, but it just had to look similar to what that photo was. So I did have reference material for that photo nearby. I'll see if I can pull that up at the end of the video. Or you can just Google stock image liquid splash or something like that, and you'll get a similar result. And then it was just starting to color in and adding in the different shading elements. What I did find was it's difficult to shade in the coffee and the glass and the metal, because altogether it becomes quite opaque, but actually you want to be able to see through it to see the structure of the metal structure behind it as well. And you can see just in the base down here that you can still see through the coffee ever so slightly, and that was something I was going back and forth with for a lot, especially something like this. You can see the glass behind the coffee spill. That was something that I really wanted to get right, to get the opacity of the coffee right as well within the glass. So actually having a lot of opaque things and having a lot of semi-translucent things like coffee, it gets quite dark in there as well, was actually really quite difficult. You can see that I started to add in a little bit of a shadow background just here as well. I wanted to make the whites pop. So the pop highlights that I like to do, these ones, if I zoom in here, I really like to do these ones. If you've seen any of my sketches online, you'll know that I like to put those in. And to really make those white highlights pop, if you put the whole thing on a gray background like this, then it really starts to make the highlights pop more. Whereas instead I just left it to go back to the white background, and that's fine. I think I like the cleanliness of this, the minimal design of the overall page. This is obviously a portrait sketch, and I'm filming this in landscape now, so I hope I haven't cut much off. But now that we've let that run through, I can go through and we can start to scrub through it and see things in more detail. So you can see, first off, like I said, it's just two cylinders on two different small axis planes, and that essentially gives us the two elements of the 3D space. After that, then it's just adding in the extra details around those cylinders, and you can see I thought actually it's not going to be a snug fit, so I made it a little bit tighter, the glass area there. And then already it's just a really rough, this is the kind of shape that I knew I wanted the coffee to be, so I just put that in really rough. And then adding in the water detail that I had from reference images, and you can see that I'm refining as I go along as well. And then adding in those extra splashes and those really the fly-offs, where the water is splashed, really helps to add detail as well. And then just start to block in the colors. As I said, I was using opacity so that you can see the metal underneath the coffee, and that gets filled in a little bit later when I start to add in some more opacity. And I think on different layers I was using different layers of the coffee even, so that I could add in different colors behind the darker sections or in front of the darker sections. I'll go through the layers in a second as well. In fact, maybe I will go through and do that now. I'm still trying to figure out what this series can be. It's a really easy way to film a YouTube video for me, so if you want to go through the time lapse as many times as possible, let me know down in the comments. If you would rather go through all of the layers and the way that I've set up the sketch, let me know down in the comments below as well, because I can just literally flick through all of the layers that we have down here, as long as I haven't flattened anything, and I can turn things off and on so you can see how I made the sketch there as well. And everything is going to be on a different layer. I even have a layer mask going on. I think this was before Procreate 4.2, so we didn't have clipping masks. But correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below as well, because I can't remember. This was such a long sketch. I sketched this such a long time ago, I can't remember exactly when I did it. So you can see here every single element is on a different layer, and I have layers where I'm literally just going through and cleaning things up. Like this one up here, which was that I just turned off and on. You can see that I had a rough sketch underneath, and then I just clean it all up with a layer on top, and then I have the pop highlights that I like to put in there as well. So that is essentially how I made this sketch. I think it's one of my favorites. I really enjoy having these exploded views. It doesn't add a lot as a design sketch, but I think as an art sketch inspired by design sketching, I think it adds loads of character and gives a real sense of movement, and I really like that aspect in my designs as well. So there it is, guys. That's how I sketched this coffee pot French press. If you learned anything in this video, don't forget to let me know down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell button and everything else that YouTube asks you to do. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.